Hey everyone, I'm going to read an excerpt from my book Monaguillos. A little background. For those of you who don't know, the word Monaguillos is Spanish for altar boys. The main character, his brothers, and his best friend were all altar boys in a local neighborhood church. The chapter entitled The Cry Room is about that soundproof room and these guys' infatuation with it. So, without further ado, here's a little bit. The room was bigger than I initially thought. The room was 2 regular, full-length church pews, a diaper-changing table, and even speakers to hear the Mass. Discovering all the various items inside the cry room occupied our attention until we heard the door open. We were surprised, and we weren't sure who was coming in. We should have predicted it was Father Fred. He entered the room and looked around as if to ensure the soundproofing could hold us, or at least silence John. After all, it was he who got us in this predicament. Then he said, "Seems we should have put the 3 of you in this room last week." The 3 of us kind of chuckled as he exited the cry room. After having made that jab, it was funny. A few seconds later, the Mass officially began. Jim Barnett was leading the way carrying the cross. At the same time, a few other monaguillos followed behind as they traversed the altar, eventually finding the seats on the altar that should have had us in them. Guilt and embarrassment set in as we watched the Mass happen without us. The same regret didn't burden the 2 Johns. Our focus quickly turned towards our original quest. Test to see if the room was as advertised, to see if it was soundproof. It all started simple enough. First, it was just some hoots and hollers to test it. Then the 3 of us alternated hooting, waiting to see if there was any response from the people in the first few pews. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Each added a round of hoots and whoops became increasingly louder. Every once in a while, we would stop to survey the congregation to see if anyone was looking in our direction. When that didn't happen, we continued. Not even Ms. De La Cruz seemed to hear us. And if she did, she wasn't turning around to glare us disapprovingly. Whoop. The 3 of us harmonized, testing the boundaries of the cry room. So far, so good. Maybe the room was soundproof. That's when things started to get interesting. The hoots and woo-woots turned into yells, then consistent yelling, and finally evolved into screams. Not sure if it was the sound or the fact that he instinctively knew we were up to no good, my oldest brother Frank turned around a few times. Is gold to hear him retell it. So I turn around and see the 3 of you guys. And because I knew it couldn't be good, I was surprised to find how funny the imagery looked. Still frustrated, I even had to go to church that day. I expected to be annoyed at you guys. But that was impossible. I turn around and I see all 3 of you idiots with faces beet red, mouths wide open, and eyes showing rage. Then it hit me. You guys were screaming at the top of your lungs. Frank's face was scrunched up with eyes hidden. He was laughing so hard retelling the story. His recollection was funnier than the actual witnessing of the 3 of you screaming at top volume inside a room designed to help mothers calm babies down. A room, lest we forget, is inside a Catholic church. Let's not forget that we're surprised to be on the altar then. Frank continued, "Dad, sensing he should have not allowed the 3 of you unsupervised inside the cry room, sent me in to check on you. From the back row of pews, where we could clearly see, I was predicting something pretty funny. But what I got, I wasn't ready for. I didn't think I would contribute to this at all. And I remember it like it was yesterday. The way every head in that church shot back toward the back of the church. The sound was deafening. Frank did not warn us he was coming back to check on us, much to our surprise. To his surprise, and to the surprise of every person in the church that day, sound came rushing out the door of the cry room. Yep, you guessed it. Frank opened the cry room. And in mid-scream, in the sound of 3 suspended adolescent monaguillos poured out in the front of the church, bounced off the sacristy, caromed out to the main congregation. The sound of us screaming caused everyone sitting in the pews, true story by the way, to gasp and let our own screams of surprise and fear. Fear that something dreadful was happening in their church. No one is being harmed, no one is having a medical issue, just 3 mischievous, idiotic teenagers. After that, with my parents, the Barnetts, and Father Fred, we were better off on the altar, where he could keep an eye on us. Well, read other anecdotes like it in Monaguillos. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.